You walked away, you left me out here on the floor. You didn't care, you're still the one that I adore. You gave me something like nobody did before. Whoa, whoa. If I close my eyes, all I see is you standing there in front of me. You're on my mind constantly. Now I can't get no sleep. All day and night you keep me up. Don't stop, I'm so done. Yeah, I'm giving you more than enough. All my love, I'm so done.
Just can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. I just can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. Can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. I just can't get you out of my head. Boy, it's more than I dare to think about. More than I dare to think about. More than I dare to think about.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your aim, my dear, and place them walking by. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I need to see you anytime. No, I don't stop. Ooh, don't make me want to ride. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. Never seen anybody do that thing so good before. Hey, say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, I'm going to do it that I like, hey. I couldn't stand to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you anytime. Into my eyes, I like your style. Ooh, you make me cry. And now I'm ready to see you dance just one more time. Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I've never seen anybody do that thing so cool before. Say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, I'm going to do it all like that, hey, hey. Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do that thing so cool before. Say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, I'm going to do it all like that, hey. I never seen anybody do that thing so good before. Say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, I'm going to do it right like that, hey. Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do that thing so good before. Say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. When you're done, I'm going to do this right like that, hey. I like it.
Some legends are told, some turn to dust or to gold, but you will remember me. Remember me for centuries. Just one mistake is all it will take. We'll go down in history. Remember me for centuries. Remember me for centuries. When I find my teenage dreams, no, it's not too long with me. The kids are all wrong, the stories are wrong. Heavy metal broke my heart. Come on and let me in. I'm posting on your thighs like my fingerprints. This is all to match the darkness that you felt. I never meant for you to fix yourself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here by our BTR Lives of Polo Cup Round 7 and 8 from the Tony Rust in Divisional 1. These guys just finished their practice runs, and yeah, the times does look amazingly for these guys, with Adrian now doing 108.9s. With me tonight, the ever so famous Warrick Stuart. Good evening, Warrick. How are you doing?
Excellent, thanks to yourself, Shoal.
No, we don't complain. Winter's night again, and back on a Tuesday. It's nice to do some mid-week vocal exercises, so to speak.
we definitely haven't had one of these in a while. So this is obviously going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to some great racing tonight. As I can see, the times are very, very close.
Yeah, no, the times are mull, as they say it. I mean, we had, as we go into overtime now, we've got Adrian Nell that just did a 108.9, and that is crazy fast for Divisional 1 or 2, where the average lap times was roughly at 108. So, yeah, it is stupidly fast times.
Yeah, no, definitely. Adrian Nell looking to run away with this one tonight. But obviously, James Leach going to try to keep him honest, as well as Peter Grobler running the 109.1s. So definitely a very, very close back that we've got here tonight.
Yeah, and I wonder if the Leeches are back from their holiday vacation in the Bushveld. Remember, over the weekend, they went away to the bush and they took their rigs with them. So that was the dedication. But yeah, back to normal, back to a normal working week. Leach, James Leach, I think, was hitting it in second place. And then we've got, like you mentioned, Peter Grobler. That is ever so famous, and he is running in third position. So, and, you know, like on Sunday, we've got Peter Grobler in a Leach sandwich again. So I think he's getting used to that.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I actually had a chat to the Leeches a little bit earlier. They're actually back from the Bushveld. So everything should be a lot more stable on their side, and they're in their familiar surroundings. So we can definitely expect some great racing from them tonight.
Yeah, so as we see, qualifying is about to start as these guys heading out on the track here at Niemann, just pulling out of my VW Golf, and this is going to be a super fast field tonight. Remember, we had some unfortunalities on Sunday, and some streaming issues, and we had some problems with the cars, and we had driver issues, so it was just one of those nights full of gremlins. But tonight, let's hope it goes better.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. Yeah, I had a few issues here and there. Obviously, struggling a little bit to get the commentator cars off the track, which was one of the issues that we had. Luckily, this time around, we well prepared for it, and it shouldn't happen again.
Yeah, we'll just keep reminding ourselves, 1 corner, 2 corner, 3rd corner off. So let's hope it's us going off and not all of our brilliant drivers tonight. But as we can see, James Leach going into the Volvo Cars corner there, followed by Mike McGeer from BWR Racing and Lyle Ramsey also. So as they exited the G4 Sim Bend, let's see on this outlap what James Leach will do. I think he is going to be very hungry. And, you know, these guys with their championship standings, they are definitely going to push very hard to get back to the top.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. James Leach, obviously a very great contender for the championship overall, as well as Adrian Nell. Even Christopher Long, Mr. Consistency, always putting in a good stint and just keeping it on track.
Yeah, Christopher Long, our current drifting champion, and you know, he's ever so familiar with this track as well. You know, these guys are also being real life car racers. They're quite familiar with handling these VW Golfs. I mean, remember, this car was modeled based on the original and the real life car, and all of our top drivers and VW Cup Polo drivers is always commented about the handling characteristics. So yes, it is quite a handful. You would know, you did a brilliant race on Sunday, and yeah, I wonder if you're still over it.
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant first race on Sunday. Unfortunate for what happened in race 2. But yeah, a brilliant track, and thanks to Peter Grobler. Peter Grobler is also a guy that we can't really count out, as he's actually built this track. So he spent multiple hours testing the track, driving on the track. So putting in every single bump. So he is probably the most familiar, second to Adrian Nell, who races on this track in real life.
Yeah, Adrian Nell, you know, we saw him on Sunday when we did the first run. He was just killing it in this car. He's a local driver. He started off in karting on this track and then went to open wheelers, and now he's actually running in I can't remember this car he's driving now, but yes, he is familiar with this track. He actually knows everything on this track. He knows every little pothole there might be as well. But on the screen quickly, I'll show you now that we have our championship standings. Currently, Peter Grobler is in leading Divisional 1 with Adrian Nell in second. Christopher Long, like we just said, is in third. Clinton Besaidenout in fourth. remember, these guys are actual real-life drivers when Clinton is. So we've got 3 sim drivers in front of him. Baldus is hitting the 5th, Mike McGee is in 6th, Warren Sheehan in 7th, Devil Kots in 8th, Melvin Gous in 9th, and John Henry Vaughan is taking up that 10th position. So that is our leaderships currently in Divisional 1, and yeah, it's going to definitely make an interesting reach. As we saw 1 minute left to go, Adrian now just did a 109.3.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the interesting thing is, obviously, with the Polos having 5 push-to-passes in the race and obviously being able to practice with push-to-pass, I actually thought that the times would drop off quite significantly. But looking at Adrian Nell's time of a 109.3 and not being able to use push-to-pass in qualifying, he is absolutely flying, as well as Sean Loureiro on a 109.5 just behind him.
Sean just came up there, 2nd place. This is the ever so familiar Sean Loureiro Adrian Nell battle for 1st position, and we always have the mid-pack battle, 3rd between Peter Grobler and the 2 leeches. And then don't count out Melvin Gous, also a local Namibian driver that is currently running in 7th position. So I think he's good. As we saw Adrian Nell just running a little bit wide and following Christopher Long there off the track. But back to Melvin, local driver. He's obviously being sponsored, and he's driving in our main sponsor for the series, JP Hydraulics' vehicle. And I think this has been one of the most successful leagues we have been running for a while.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. And thanks to Alan Martin, obviously, for the sponsorship of our Polo Cup League. Alan also being a huge part of racing up in Namibia. And obviously tonight, I think we should have quite a bit of Namibians actually watching the stream, as this is the first race on Tony Rust in the, obviously except for the Divisional 2 race on Sunday.
Yeah, it's the first Divisional 1 race, as we saw Mike McGee there past the G4 Sim Ben, as he's going to go and finish off his lap. Let's see if Mike is going to improve anywhere. He's currently lying in 10th, and Mike McGee obviously representing the BWR Griffins, and this is another racing team that does marvelous for the sim racing community. But yeah, back to Tony Rust. First time in the virtual world, like we said. A little bit later on, we are going to have a quick discussion, or we have had a discussion with the designer, Mr. Tony Rust himself, of this track. And what a remarkable guy, so humble, down to earth. And since he was a youngster, he always wanted to put back into motorsport, and he's been doing that so well that even his children is following in motorsport with Michael Rust Racing, and yeah, the future is definitely bright in Namibia.
Yeah, no, the racing obviously on Tony Rust itself is absolutely amazing, being the Namibian track it is, built in the middle of a desert. One interesting thing I can state though is the high elevation gains around this track.
Yeah, it is this. We try to figure out what is the degrees of the main straight, but I think it's probably about a 32-degree slope. It's Mull. I mean, look at a beautiful view with these all cars down the pits. But yeah, it's a crazy elevation gains up and down the whole way through. Like we said before, passing is probably only on the main straight, and maybe on the bitstream back straight you will have a bit of passing opportunity. But the ever so infamous, as we can call it, CCB corner and the SRA bit dip definitely takes out the guys and they catch him by surprise.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. CCB obviously one to watch out for, as well as SRA the dip. The dip, if you run it a little bit wide, you actually struggle to hug the inside of the corner, forcing you wide out as soon as you exit the corner. So that's definitely going to be a place where we're going to have to watch for incidents and everything, and hopefully the guys can keep it clean. Yeah,
they got to just keep it on the tarmac and don't let the tempers flare up. You know, as we normally know, the Divisional 1 guys are quite aggressive drivers. You know, these guys are taking rubbing to racing as to a new level. So yeah, as we go, 57 seconds to countdown. Let's quickly go and pop in at JP Hydraulics and see what these guys are doing.
Okay, cool. Ja, ons nou doen. Ligte.
Guys, we're back there. We can see we've got about 10 seconds or so to go. 4, 5 lights is on, 6 lights are on, and we are lights off and racing. As we can see, Adrian now making a brilliant start. Sean Lera, and look at the infamous Peter Grobler. Yet again, he's splitting this back up on the main straight.
Yeah, Peter Grobler obviously having a little bit of a better start, diving up the inside of James Leach. Let's see if he can make it stick. Oh, he's hanging back, obviously, to try to keep it a bit cleaner.
Yeah, look at the back. We've got Kyle Lawrence is now making a remarkable run, sitting in 5th position, as we saw him in practice earlier the week, running backers as they go up the bit stream back straight. These guys are now going to head it into CCB. Adrian Nalner, GB Truck Bodies and Trailers car leading the pack, with Peter Grobler sitting in 3rd, and Sean Lerero, I think, was just falling slightly back there in 4th position currently. Into the SRA dip. They're going now still in the same positions. There was so far no incidents or nobody off the track, so I think these guys are definitely going to keep it clean tonight. As you can see, Mike McGee and them in the back there coming through with Waldo Swickers as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, one person to watch out for is obviously Sean Herrera. He seems to get faster the longer the race goes on. So I think he'll definitely be a contender to be fighting for 2nd or 1st position a little bit later on in the race.
Yeah, we can see Adrian Nell and James Leeds has already used 1 push to pass. I think that was on the main straight. And Peter Grobler is still sitting on 5 push to passes, and he's had a brilliant start. So I think the current odds are in Peter Grobler. As you can see in the inside, Sean Herrera just diving in them, going off track. And he's a huge accident there with Peter Grobler. Huge one as he's taken it. I think Sean has just made a little bit of a booby there.
Yeah, I think Sean might have just missed his brake marker. Obviously trying to avoid Peter, ran it up on the inside.
Three ways up, 3-way side battle going up into CCB. We've got Stu Mac, Christopher Long, and Sean Herrera, Kyle Lawrence fighting for this position. They went 3 sideways across CCB. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's not something you see quite often.
No, this track is, like we said before, it's so narrow. I can't even drive and stay on the tarmac by my lonesome. How did these guys get 3 ways across? So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh, no, it's absolutely crazy. But I can also see that Renier Leach has actually just passed Waldo Swichters.
Yeah, Mike McGee just disconnected. Unfortunately, I wonder what happened there. I can't remember him being in any kind of contact with anybody, but yeah, he's definitely, look at this TV view, all the way onto the back straight. You can see these guys. Renier Leach is now running crazy against Waldo Swichters. Waldo's just taking
I see they're running side by side. We'll obviously see who's got the better brake marker for turn 1.
3-way into turn 1, total corner coming up. You can see Lau Ranzi on the inside. Renier had the better one there as they're pushing Kyle a little bit wide. Kyle is coming back here with these guys, and I think Renier. And then look at Melvin's Gous. Melvin is still in there, 9th position. He lost 2, and I think he can definitely regain something out. He's currently under push to pass as they went up the bit stream back straight. These guys coming up. Oh, you can see Renier running a bit wide, and lots of tire smoke in the background.
Yeah, I was actually watching Melvin Gous from the beginning. He seemed to have fallen back on the start, but working himself through, obviously knowing the track very, very well.
Look at the back.
He will sit patient.
Peter off again. Peter went off, sorry. Out of the SRA dip, Peter went off, and him and Warren Sheehan. I wonder if there was a bit of contact because both guys went off at the same corner. So, yeah, unfortunately for Peter, from 2nd place all the way down in 13th. So I think that's his race, to be honest.
Yeah, let's see what Peter can do. Knowing Peter will probably put the hammer down, he'll probably catch up to Dierwald Kotze and probably Gerard Niemand, and maybe bring us a little bit of a fight in the later stages of the race.
Yeah, Adrian now starting to build his ever so familiar lead. He's already 1.8 seconds up on James Leach. James had an exceptional start, and being a second runner, I was actually calling Sean Herrera on that position. Sean, who's sitting in 11th position currently, so yeah, unfortunately, I think for Peter and Shawnee, it's unfortunate they had such a bad, how can we say, not a start, but just so many incidents to push them back. But yeah, now we've got the Longs and the Leaches and the Lawrences. It's the L's and the L's, or the battle of the L's.
Yeah, no, definitely. Even with Sean Herrera, I can see he's putting huge pressure on the back of Gerard Niemand and trying to fight his way back through the pack. Hopefully he can catch the pack in front of him once he gets through, and then bring us a nice battle as he fights through the pack.
Yeah, these guys need to start putting pedal to the metal. They've got 11 minutes up. As you can see them entering the G-Force bend into the JP Hydraulics main straight. These guys are now giving it as much as they can. You can see these guys are running 109.5s in third position. And Adrian Land, talking about Adrian now, he just did the fastest lap. So yes, these guys are still flying, and Adrian is now increased it to 2.7 second lead as he's going up on the bitstream back straight.
Yeah, Adrian is definitely a guy you don't want to give a gap to. As soon as he gets the gap on the front, he just checks out.
Yeah, look at the fight quickly. Look at the fight between Melvin Gous coming in with Lyle Ramsey and Stewie Mack. Waldo Swiggers is not in the battle there, and I wonder where he's gone to, because there he's changed now. So Gous just took Ramsey over, and there's a big battle now running for 6 as Melvin is making his way through.
Yeah, Gous actually had a very good run up on the outside, passing Lyle and Valdu, who were trying to hug the inside, little bit of argy-bargy, and then obviously capitalizing twice on 2 positions.
Oh, and Melvin has just lost it. Look at him sliding. He had a
wide.
huge accident. Melvin had a huge one there. That was, unfortunately, I think he just clipped the backside on. Let's have to see if we can get that one on live stream. And yeah, unfortunately, Melvin, he can't really see anything there. But yeah, buddy, I think it just clipped the little bit of the sand, that Namibian desert sand, and that has put him off. As you can see, Melvin is now retiring to the pits. That is so unfortunate for you. Let's hope your round 2 is going to be better. I do think he's going to be out.
Yeah, and I also think so. It's going to be hard to come back from that. And even if he does come out of the pits, hopefully he's just going in, having the car repaired, and he will come out and at least just try to score some points.
Yeah, let's see. But that was, I think, it was just unfortunately he clipped that Namibian desert sand, and that just spun the car around. So, yeah, but back in the front, Adrian now, local Namibian driver, a 2.8 second lead in the GB Truck Bodies car again. And then we've got James Leach settling in quite nicely now with 3.3 second lead onto Christopher Long, who has to work his little butt off to try and get back onto him. And then Stewie Mack, remarkably, is sitting in 4th. I'm glad this youngster has now made up his positional gain, and he's back in the fight in the Polo Cup.
Yeah, I actually saw Carl Lawrence run a little bit wide through one of the corners, allowing Stewie Mack to get through, and obviously René Leach to close up right onto the back of him.
Yeah, no, these guys are definitely fighting it hard as they go through all, and you can see Lyle Ramsey is now running into the total corner. Sorry, apologies, Stuart Mack. So yeah, these guys are hard at fighting here, and yet again there's a fight here with the Leaches and the Carl Lawrence, and I'm glad to see that Carl has now actually settled into this Polo. Like we said in practice, he was running right at the back, and he's already into 5th. So I think between Sunday or yesterday and the public holiday, he's put some practicing times in.
Yeah, sure. As I said earlier, I thought Sean Herrera would be able to push past Gerard Niemand and obviously bring the fight to the mid-pack in the later stages of the race. And if you look, he's actually caught up to the back of Waldo Swiggers and Lyle Ramsey. So he'll definitely be packing a lot of pressure onto them, as he is 10-1 the quicker driver.
Yeah, I think between the 3 of them, it's got to go to Sean Herrera. But let's see what he can do, as all of them, Herrera and Swiggers, is now under push to pass. So let's see. And I think Lyle's going to lose his position there. I don't know if our dear friend Jay de Villiers can hear us, but maybe you want to see if we can get Melvin in. I don't know if Melvin is available. Maybe we can get Melvin in for a quick yak, but I don't actually see him in the other room. So maybe not, but yeah, let's go. So Sean Herrera back on Lyle Ramsey. I think Lyle defended that position quite well down the JP Hydraulics main straight, and then as they go up into Bitstream, let's see if he's going to make it stickier into CCB.
I see Carl Lawrence actually passed René Leach up on the inside, so there must have been some position swapping happening there.
Yeah,
the
Carl Lawrence is 5th.
Absolutely amazing tonight, and the guys are keeping it nice and close and obviously making it interesting and easy for us to talk.
Yeah, I don't know what's easier to watch, a good fight up front or a good fight in the middle, but I quite enjoy the mid-bit battles. You know, you can see out there, James Leach
actually took out Carl Lawrence, crossing the track, taking out
Lyle
Ramsey. Sean Herrera getting through, luckily.
Yeah, there's another one. There's another cross there. He's also taken out Gerard Niemand now, who's doing some rally crossing, as Peter Grobler is trying to capitalize this with Dewald Kotze. So, yeah, there was a lot of moving and shaking happening there in the Volvo cars corner.
I definitely think the COC is going to have her hands full with Renier Leach. Obviously, there's incidents crossing the track back and forth and taking guys out as he was going.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to have the situational awareness, and yeah, you know, a lot of times when your car is out of well, let's say out of control, but when you start hitting a barrier and you start going backwards without being in control, you know, you can't always be blamed for it. But hey, it's a COC's call. Let's see what's going to happen there. As you can see now on the front, Adrian Nel is pushing out 3.1 seconds. He's actually catching a back marker. Is it Gous? Gous is back on track. Well done.
I think Gous actually went back to the pits to have his car repaired after hitting that tire barrier. So it's good to see him back on track and obviously just pushing through for the points.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
One thing that I can mention is Dewald Kotze onto the back of Peter Grobler. I see there's a lot of pressure and Gerard Niemann closing the gap on them as well.
Yeah, Gerard Niemann is always a front runner. You know, he came through the ranks quite fast, and yeah, it's unfortunate to see him in the Polo so low, but you know what? There's Polo drivers and then there's BTCC drivers, and I think Gerard is a very good, firm BTCC driver currently. So yeah, hats off for Melvin Gous for coming back. I think that is a gentleman and a half, and a round of applause needed for him. So yeah, thanks for appreciating it and setting that good example. I mean, I think that is, you know, it's not always about winning, but it's setting the good example of never giving up to the youngsters, and that's what's going to be portrayed. So yeah, James Leach is in second place. You can see them catching the back markers. I think that will be an easy pass for all of them. Christopher Long is just settling in quite nicely. Stewie Mack, look at the top four. The top five is all under 5 seconds from each other. So that is such a widespread field currently. I wonder where's our... Okay, Dewald Kotze is giving us a little bit of a battle with Peter Grobler.
Yeah, I see Sean Herrera is also fighting up nicely through the pack. He's actually worked himself up all the way to 6. Peter Grobler pulling away a little bit from Dewald Kotze as they were on 0.3 of a second apart the previous lap, and I see they're up to 0.6.
Yeah, Dewald Kotze has actually got the hand on Peter with push to passes. He's got 3 versus 2. So if he's clever with about 3 minutes to go, I think he can capitalize on this, and he should be able to get Peter. Actually, we can look Carl Lawrence now. Look at Carl Lawrence. He's closing that gap thick and fast against what a beautiful livery from Carl Lawrence. This full gas Polo looks magnificent.
Yeah, obviously unlucky for Carl Lawrence getting tied up in the Renier Leach, obviously with taking everyone out, but looking to fight his way back, hasn't gone back into the pit, so obviously the car can't be too damaged, but he'll definitely be putting a lot of pressure onto the back of Gerard Niemann and trying to take that 9th position away from Gerard.
Yeah, Gerard, we know is a big, firm Renault passionate driver in real life. I think he takes more pictures of his car than what he takes of a girlfriend, but leave that for another day. But as you can see, Carl on the inside of Gerard Niemann now in the Volvo Cars corner, he's really pushing his bumper in there ever so slightly, and he's just looking for that position to pass. And I don't think Gerard's got a breather. I think if Gerard breathes slightly, Carl has passed him. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think Gerard's going to be watching that rearview mirror quite closely for Carl. Obviously, Carl a little bit later on the brakes than Gerard, so he seems to be closing that gap slowly but surely.
Yeah, he's got to do... I'm just trying to see... I'm looking at Melvin Gous with Adrian now, and although Adrian is right on the back of Gous, he just cannot close the gap. So I think Gous is running top pace, even if he's a lap down. So yeah, Adrian Nel has now got 1 minute and a half about to go on this race, and then he's ever so familiar 2 laps, you know, for finishes. So let's see what he can do. Christopher Long is now in 3rd. Stewie Mack has settled quite well in 4th position. Waldo Swiggers is sitting in 5th. Sean Herrera in 6th, and Peter Grobler is still fighting. Well, not really. He's pulled a bit of a gap against Dewald Kotze, and then Gerard Niemann is having a huge battle at the hand on Carl Lawrence now, and I think Carl is going to make it difficult. No, not really. Gerard has got 2 push-to-passes left and Carl's got 0. So I think Niemann's just going to run away.
If Gerard plays it smart and he obviously uses his push-to-pass up the straight here, looking at the time, I think we only got 2 laps left. So Gerard could actually use a push-to-pass per lap down the main straight, which will give you a huge advantage on the guy behind you who has got none left.
Yeah, he can. If you've used it so well before to come back from a pack between 12th position to win a race. So I think if anybody knows how to use a push to pass, maybe we should do a P2P training session on Sunday.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you need to plan out strategically. You need
Yeah.
to check your time differences between the driver ahead of you and just time it absolutely perfectly, and obviously use it where you're going to gain the most time.
Yeah, for
I see
me,
Harrod actually clipping the inside of the curb going onto 2 wheels,
yeah, for me
allowing
it's
Carl
more of a
Lawrence to close
challenge.
down on him.
For me, it's not a challenge to finish. For me, it's a challenge to finish the push to passes. It's like lights off, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, done. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
As we
drivers
see-
have that same problem.
As we see, final lap now. Adrian now is going to bring it home as he passes the total corner into the Bitstream back straight. Remember, Bitstream is our sponsor for all of our internet in this season. So thanks for them for keeping our Namibian guys well connected and up. CCB, ever so famous corner into the Tony Russ circuit, and then going down into our very own corner dip. It's called the SRA dip, and then into Volvo Cars corner. Remember, Volvo Cars is also one of our main sponsors of our BTCC league, and thanks to Tony Rust, the legend, Mr. Tony Rust's son, Michael Rust. And then the G-Force bend, which they're going to enter now, that is from Hazel and her husband, all the way in Uitenhage, and they are sponsoring $500, if I'm not mistaken, Hazel, for the first guys that will give our quota name for the next rig. And then JP Hydraulics Main Street, which is our main sponsor for this Polo Cup, as we see Adrian Nell is bringing it home there, and Adrian Nell just won this race 1 in Divisional 1.
Yeah, we also another one to mention is RS Freight, obviously
Yes.
offering discounted freighting services countrywide.
Yeah, that's it. And
all you need to
also,
do is just quote SRA.
that's it. And sorry to interrupt you, but it's also not continental countries that they offer between Namibia and South Africa's freight servicing as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so as we go back to the action, Gerard Niemann just finished in 9th. He's actually just outran Carl Lawrence there on the final, so well done to him. Lau Ramsey is sitting in 11th, and then bringing back at the back, we've got René Leach, which had an unfortunate run there in the Volvo Cars corner, but he's well done for finishing. And then we've got Melvin Gous coming out of the G-Force bend, and he's going to run this JP Hydraulics powered VW Polo onto the VW straight. Warrick, this straight where Melvin is on, they use for a drag race. Did you know that? Oh, look at this drifting.
Melvin losing it there across the line, obviously having a bit of fun with it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be so comfortable, obviously, doing drag racing on such a high elevated track, especially down this main straight.
So whatever your car runs, you can add 2 seconds deduct of your time because it's an uphill. But as we go there, that was our finish. So talking about JP Hydraulics, let's go and have a look at the visit we did at this guy's shop in Saturday. Have a look at this.
Goed, ons terug.
Alright guys, just back there we've got race 2 about to start. Remember, in race 2 we've got reverse order starts. So currently we've got, let me just make it double sure here, but we've got Assetto Corsa in first position. So he's going to lead us off onto the pack, and he's going to make an interesting start into the total corner.
Yeah, no, and another thing, Adrianel obviously going to have to fight back all the way from 8 through the pack. So let's see if he can get through turn 1 nice and clean. As I see the lights coming on, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, 6 lights on. Just waiting for the lights to go out. And we're racing.
We're racing as these guys are going off into hitting up into second gear. You can see they're 80 k's an hour, 90 k's an hour as they're going into the first corner. I wonder who's going to take this. As you can see, these guys racing. Adrianel, Peter Grobler.
Adrianel having a blistering start, pushing all the way up to 4th.
Also, Peter's into first position. As you can know, Peter always has a brilliant start. I don't know what this guy does.
Yeah, Peter's very quick on the gears and off the line and dropping that touch.
Look at Sean, right onto the bumper of Assetto Corsa. 2 abreast into CCB. Let's see if these guys are going to clean it out. This is Mullins. These guys going, as you can see, a relevant run there. I think it is, yeah, it's definitely Stuart Mac had a bit of a spin there. 12, 2, 3, 4 times around as he's going to make his way back. Let's see what these guys are going to do into SRA. Look here, 5-car battle for second into our Volvo cars corner.
One thing that I can say is I'm surprised everybody got through cleanly, considering how many of them are running side by side through the corners. And these corners are really tricky to get through. As you can see, Adrianel running side by side with James Leach. Melvin Gous actually diving up the inside of James Leach, having a brilliant run. He might even be able to capitalize on Nell, running up side by side next to Nell again, coming down the main straight, coming into the first corner, total corner. Let's see if Melvin's got the brakes.
Melvin has to get this one properly in. I think he knows as well. Look here, 3 abreast, and Adrian just cut on the inside, and he's capitalizing. Melvin had a bit of touch, a huge action at the back. We've got, yet again, Carl Lawrence is involved there with Stewie Mack, and we had Valdo Swiggers. That was a big loser in that battle. René Leach is now running in 11th, and he's trying to make his way back through this pack. No, racing is never excited there.
Yeah, Melvin obviously doing very well. He's worked his way up all the way from 14th to 3rd position. Let's see if he can keep this going. The next guy to come under attack from Melvin is going to be Sean Herrero. Melvin obviously knowing this track really well. Every bump, as he's a Namibian driver. Yeah, as he dives up the inside of Sean Herrero. Let's see if they can keep it clean. Sean getting a little bit of a better drive. Adrianel's also sitting on the back of Melvin, looking to capitalize.
Look at Adrianel. You're going to be surprised with this youngster. He's going to make his way through, and if I can call it correctly, he's probably going to end up in 2nd place. He's too good of a driver. But look here, Namibia against Namibia into the total corner as these guys going out 215, 220 k's an hour, 6 gear, hard on the brakes. Melvin Gous on the inside. Adrianel's going to undercut him. Let's see. Oh, you can see him just took a little bit of corrective action there in the GB car. But yeah, now he's got a little bit of a pressure on the inside from Leach.
Yeah, one thing that I definitely can mention, obviously this huge fight all the way from 2nd to 6th for 2nd position has allowed Peter Grobler to pull a 3.8 second gap. So yeah. Peter running with nice clean air away from everybody with no stress on his shoulders and just running away with the field at the moment.
Yeah, no, Peter is having a good run, and give credit where credit is due. We said, he created this track, he designed it, and he made the score. Look at Adrianel on the outside, looking into the total, the Volvo cars corner as he's trying his luck yet again. Melvin wheel spinning crazy. I think we need to get this guy a new tire sponsor the way he's carrying on around these corners, drifting it out. But yeah, I think that's one thing he does have is car control. Look at the back. We've got a huge battle brewing at the back. Look here. Gerard Niemand, Christopher Long, Valdo Swiggers, James, is it James? René Leach and Lyle
Ramsey.
Yeah, huge battle for the back. And that's quite lucky to see, battle for 10th or 9th actually. So, funny for Christopher Long to run there.
Yeah, a lot of the guys obviously running further back, they must have been caught up in that incident that we saw a little bit earlier, which has obviously put them back and now trying to fight their way back all the way through the grid. But obviously being Div 1, everybody is super quick. So this is going to be really hard fight for these guys to try push through.
Yeah, no, this is a fight and a half happening now with Christopher Long still trying there. Peter Grober is still fighting in the front. Well, Sean Lerrero, look at him. Huge pressure now from Adrianel. As we called it, he's fighting for second. He's definitely going to try and stick his nose through there. We've got Diewald
Yeah,
Kotze also
definitely
having a big battle.
Yeah, this battle from second to fifth, really, really tight. All these guys are extremely quick.
Yeah,
Adrianel obviously being the quickest on track, as we saw in practice and qualifying. He's definitely going to put immense pressure on Sean Herrera, hoping to push past. But knowing Sean, he'll tag along with Adrianel and try to capitalize on any mistake he can force Adrianel into.
Yeah, you know, Adrianel is normally a open wheeler driver. So look at that. Adrianel on the inside. Sean Lerrero just ran a little bit wide, wheel spinning like a green mamba out of that corner. We can just see tire smoke everywhere. It looks like a 400-meter drag strip start. But yeah, James Leach is now also looking onto Melvin Gous, and James Leach has got 5 push to passes left and Melvin only 3. So I think James could capitalize a bit if he runs it wide. More tires there as James ran wide on the Namibian desert sand.
Yeah, no, obviously you can see these Namibian drivers knowing the track really, really well. As you see, Melvin nearly touching that inside barrier.
Yeah, he
So
knows
obviously
every
done
pothole.
multiple laps.
They
Yeah, I know every
pothole.
pothole, every bump, and he can even name the bumps for you.
Yeah, I think he's had a little bit of a contact with all of those, as we've heard in the week with Michael Rust and Melvin and them telling us how the guys used to run the corners. So it's quite funny. So
Yeah, no.
Warrick, a little bit on some of our viewers are actually asking us how do they get involved in our league. So if you want to talk them through, how can they start sim racing and how do they get involved with our leagues?
Yeah, obviously just join our Discord channel. We've got quite a few admins, so everyone will be available for answers. You're more than welcome to chat to us. If we have slots available, obviously it's on a first come first serve basis. If we have drivers dropping out and whatever. So yeah, I'd say start by getting onto our Discord channel, having a chat to some of the admins, and then we'll try to see where we can accommodate. Obviously, if there's no space in the league races, we do run quite a few fun races and endurance events and stuff like that throughout the week to obviously try to accommodate for the guys who weren't able to make it into the league races.
Yeah, so Discord we can go to, as we see Audrey now running wide there. So yeah, Discord you can come to, you can join our Facebook and YouTube like Warrick has said, and yeah, it's always interesting to join. If you're not a good driver, there's so many fun servers running. Every night there's something happening, as you can always join in. There's lots of tips and advice, and you know what the interesting is, the guys jump in the car. Let's quickly have a look at Melvin Gous' battle from inside his car. Look at this, Gous and Nel. Nel is looking at Gous here on the inside. You can see Gous left on his bumper as they go into the corner. Right over the nose is Adrian now cutting through, touching a little bit of this brilliantly white JP Hydraulics Polo, number 1, sponsored by Alan Martin, his son. And remember, Alan is a big giving backer for the motorsport in Namibia. He's involved with everything into CCB. We can see in-car action here. He's still on the back bumper of Melvin Gous, so this is huge pressure now that's running at the back.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think also these panel beaters are going to be quite busy once they're done with this race, trying to get these cars back up and running with all this rubbing that we've had tonight. Obviously, some of the rubbing is not just rubbing, but yeah, rubbing is racing, eh?
They say rubbing is racing, but oh, look at Adrianel just coming in there a little bit fast. What brilliant view on this black and green rims, I must say. But yeah, look at this. 6 minutes to go. We're almost 2/3 through our race, and we still got battles all over. This is such a tight. Look here, you can see the back markers are still coming through onto the main straight, so this is not split. Adrian now coming on the inside. Look at this. Melvin Gous is right on the outside. Let's see if Adrian now can close this off. Yeah, he's closing Melvin a little bit there as they dive in. I think Adrian might even have a run onto Sean Lerrero here.
Another battle that I'd like to mention is Warren Sheehan. Warren Sheehan obviously coming from all the way back in the pack to now putting a lot of pressure onto the back of Carl Lawrence. He's had one tremendous drive tonight as well.
Yeah, you know, Warren Sheehan, is great to see him. Yeah, he was I think he came last, except for the retirements in race 1. So it's great to see him back and getting his little bit of a groove back, as they say it. But yeah, he's under big pressure now, and he's putting big pressure onto Carl Lawrence. And Warren is also getting it from the back. So he's getting it from the back and he's giving it to the front.
Yeah, I wonder what Warren's going to be focused on. Is he going to be focused on the attack on Carl Lawrence, or is he going to be focused on the attack that's coming from Christopher Long?
If
Obviously, Christopher Long, knowing Christopher Long, he's not going to back out of it, and he'll put a lot of pressure on you, and he'll actually force you into a mistake.
Well,
which
you
will be
can
your own
almost
doing.
see it there. You almost saw it through the Volvo corner. I think Warren was so concentrated in his mirror that he actually ran wide, and that brought Christopher Long just about 2 points of a second faster into him. But let's see if there's still a battle coming up. Look at Christopher Long diving on the inside of Warren Sheehan, and he's going to try and take both as he makes contact with Kyle Lawrence. I think Christopher Long just took Kyle and Warren Sheehan out there. That was unfortunate. That wasn't good. And now they clear the fight at the back. You can see the Leeches is also there fighting with Warren Sheehan as they all make contact. Full press coming into the CCB. And I think we're going to have a retirement there. If I look at, I think it's Kyle Lawrence that's just pulled out, drifting there by Christopher Long as he runs out into the tire barrier. That is just crazy. And this is the call out. Now we've got Lyle Ramsey out as well and Stuart Max. So that's going to be a lot of discontinuations there. I can see
Yeah,
that.
see, we actually lost Warren as
Sheehan.
well after the brilliant race that he was having.
Yeah, Kyle Lawrence, Warren Sheehan, Lyle Ramsey's race is now gone. Stewie Mack is out, but let's look at Peter Glover. Let's give this Sassel VW Polo a little bit of credit. This guy, all the way from Bethlehem in South Africa, sitting there, designing this track in the car, and he's doing 200 k's an hour in first position. I think this guy must be ecstatic and over the moon. He's doing a brilliant drive from him tonight.
Yeah, no, he's putting in one tremendous drive. But as you can see, Sean Herrera and them actually closing up a little bit behind him. But I don't think there's enough time for them to be able to take that first position away from Peter Grobler. That's obviously if Peter Grobler can keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah, he's just got to now calm that nerves down. He's got 3.3 seconds onto Herrera, and he's got a 3 push to passes left. So there should not be any pressure here. There shouldn't be. But let's look at Herrera under huge pressure now from now. This has been a battle the whole season, actually, not just tonight. As a guy up the RS, and you can see, yeah, RS Freight Services back straight, and it's a back straight, or just a straight, actually, I think this one is. But into the corner, Melvin Gous drifting there with James Leach, Adrian now chasing hard onto the back of Sean Herrera. So this is still, and you know what, we're calling it again. Every SRA race we have a battle for second, and it's normally a four-way battle.
Yeah, and the nice thing that which I think is going to happen is Adrian Nell's always going to put the attack on Sean Herrera, which will allow Melvin Gous and James Leach to actually close up.
Look at that,
these two.
Two-way, Adrian Nell on the outside, Sean Herrera on the inside, into the total corner. Let's see who's got it. Melvin Gous just overshot that. He understeered that car. I think he's still turning the steering wheel as he's coming and joining the track back. Adrian Nell is still putting huge pressure onto Sean Herrera. Huge.
Yeah. I see Adrian obviously sitting up the inside, trying to line it up for the next corner, but Sean just got a little bit of an edge on him.
Yeah, Sean's car's perfectly standard setup there. You can't fault him on that side.
Yeah, no, definitely Mr. Default setup himself.
Unfortunately, look at James Leach. He's just taken Melvin Gous there. Did he run a bit wide? No, he didn't. So, yeah, I think Melvin Gous with that little bit of understeer moment into turn one, he's lost a lot of positions there, and that James Leach has capitalized a lot with Devold Gutse also joining now.
Yeah, but knowing Mr. Melvin Gous, we know he's very, very patient, and he'll actually try catch back up to the back of James Leach.
Look at Adrian now. Adrian now's like coming 0.09 seconds onto Sean Herrera. These guys are running side by side, 190 k's an hour, pushing 200, 210, 220, coming down this main straight, and they're hard under the braking. Who's going to have the better brakes of these two? As Sean Herrera is turning it in, Adrian now knows exactly what line to take on the outside. And look at him. He's just... He overtakes on the outside and he doesn't even lose a millisecond. And he actually gained a position.
Yeah, that first corner, if you run it a little bit wide, if you get your brake marker exact and you run it wide, you actually get a way better drive out of the first corner.
Look at James. James running very wide there, drifting it around CCB. That has made Melvin Gous now capitalizes. Melvin Gous is going to dive into the straight. And let's see, I think James Leach has just closed him down there. I think he's just been a little bit naughty.
Yeah, he was leaving Melvin on the outside to dry.
Yeah, but Melvin is now
regained. Nice up the inside.
But look at this. This is so familiar. Two guys are so bad in a battle that they forget about the guy behind him. And Devold Corsa has just capitalized. He's right onto the bumper. One wheel spin and they're out. Look a little bit long. look at Christopher Long now battling with Kotze as well. So these guys are Baldur Swichers and Christopher Long are side by side into 7th position. Fights everywhere.
Christopher Long diving up the inside for the first corner, which is we've seen quite a few times tonight. That is definitely his place for passing.
Yeah, we just had a view of Gerard Niemann drifting the car over that corner, like almost 90 degrees sideways. So yeah, watch out, Christopher Long. You definitely might have some competition in the next series. But yeah, let's look. Adrian now still huge pressure from Sean Herrera. These guys are not going to let it go. 14 seconds to go. We've got Simtech versus GB Truck Bodies. Who's going to walk out? Grey or black? Red or white?
Yeah, by the looks of things, if I look at the front of Adrian's car, he's got a big red Hulk, and I think that big red Hulk at the moment is Sean Herrera sitting behind him in that red Simtech car.
Yeah, we can see. Let's see if we can grab something there from the back view of. We cannot get a proper one, but yeah, Sean Herrera is huge under pressure onto Adrian now, and then we've got the Gous and Kotze battle as well behind them. So that's always a two-way fight as they go. Leaders on the final lap. Peter Grobler, well deserved, I think, finish for him. Let's just not give him any curses before he finishes this race.
Yeah, no, definitely. Commentator's curse is a horrible thing.
Yeah,
but
it's
Peter,
bad.
if you can keep it on the black stuff now, he's guaranteed a win. And obviously, coming from a great start, not getting involved in too many of the battles has allowed him to pull a gap and just bring it home nice and clean and safe.
Yeah, let's see what he can do now as he's going into the Volvo cars.
Sean Herrera seems to be putting a huge attack onto the back of Adrian Null. I wonder if he'll be able to do it on the last lap.
Yeah, I doubt. Adrian now doesn't make a mistake. This should be his as they're going into the Volvo cars corner for the very last time. And then Peter just exited the G-Force bend. As we can see, Peter is going to bring it home here onto the JP Hydraulics main straight. And thanks for JP. Peter flashing us with some lights and saying, very well deserved win for that Sassel VW. I'm getting goosebumps as he went over the track.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he's very, very excited. Adrian Null second, Sean Herrera third.
Melvin flashing the lights in 4th. Adrian Kotze in 5th.
Coming home in 4th with a brilliant race.
6th, Baldur Swichers in 7th. Leach in 8th. Stu and Mac is going to bring it back in 9th. And then there's still a fight happening at the back between Christopher Long and Ramsey. So, yeah, I don't know if Jay can maybe get us Peter in. Let's have a yak with Peter as we see Lau Ramsey there crossing. So while we wait for Peter, let's quickly go and see what just JP Hydraulics is doing for the communities. Alrighty, we've got Peter Grobler, the winner of race 2 with us. Peter, how you doing?
Himself.
Good. Do you still have goosebumps and do you still have a bit of adrenaline pumping there?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to struggle to sleep tonight with all the adrenaline pumping through my veins.
Yes, Peter, I can just commend you there. I need to know from you one thing. If I can say how, Do you get a start like that off the main straight? You are just like a beast.
Yeah, it's actually something that Tommy told me that I
Oh.
actually knew, but then I just implemented it, and then yeah, it paid off.
All right, well, don't give that secret away there. we'll grab you offline. But from our side, Peter, very well done. Congrats on that win. I think you do deserve it. And a win for the designer, for the car and the track, you really get it. And we commend you. Goed gedoen,
Thank you very
Peter.
much. Okay, dankie hoor.
Cool, Peter.
Oh, have a
All
good
right,
evening.
Warwick, who are you grabbing next?
Next, we've got Adrian Null, winner of race 1, and then obviously second position in race 2. Adrian, how's it going?
It's going well. It was a tough battle, eh? Yo.
Yeah, I saw you had your hands a little bit full there with Melvin for the first half of the race, keeping you very, very busy. Talk us through your race. What was your strategy? How did it go? Did it go as expected?
Well, I got a really, really good start, better than I expected. And I was up to like fourth, I think. And I just tried to work my way up. And then Melvin came past. Then I had a battle with him. One close moment for sure. I had to open the door, otherwise I would have been toast. But I got past, and then I was working on getting second, and then was also a close battle with that.
Yeah, no, brilliant racing. Obviously, Sean Herrera keeping you honest in the second half. But yeah, as all that I can say from my side is great racing and well done at keeping it clean.
Thanks. Tried my best. It was tricky, but hey, we got it right.
All right, who do we have next? I think we've
Melvin.
got Melvin Gous.
The Melvin Gous.
How's it, Melvin? How's it going?
Not too bad.
Melvin, what happened in the
Unfortunately,
first race?
first race, running a little bit wide and hitting the tire will see that you go into the pits for repair.
It wasn't so much the running wide; it was the dip that that inside barrier. So used to cutting it close, I went too close and I hit it, and it actually bent both the right-hand control arms. So going up the hill, the wheel was at about 90 degrees with no control whatsoever, and that was it.
I think we need to bring Peter back in here and ask him to paint that barrier an luminous orange.
That's not going to help.
But Melvin,
Yeah, but well done on your second race.
yeah,
Yeah, the second race was, sorry, Charles, you cut out there. The second race was actually quite fun. Yeah, the first race I had an issue with the shifter for some reason again, and I was sitting in neutral and I couldn't get it going. And eventually, when I got it going, I was in fourth gear in last place. So it was fighting my way back. Then the second race, obviously starting from the back, was fun to come back through. Had an epic battle all the race first with Adrian. Had some close calls, and then with James Leach, and we got so busy that we lost track with Sean and Charles. With Sean and Adrian, sorry, he's in your cars. But yeah, it was good fun.
yeah, no, but I think the Namibian pride, Melvin and Adrian did your country very proud tonight. You guys were top finishers and really, really good driving that we've seen from everybody tonight. So well done for that, and congrats from our side, Melvin.
Oh, thanks, Ed.
Cool. Right, Warwick, on to some other stuff for tonight. Remember in the week we had a brilliant discussion with Mr. Tony Rust. He was the creator of this track. And we've got a little bit of a interview video we'll play now, and something just to a bit of history of where the track came from. Built in 1984, Mr. Tony Rust, you'll hear in the interview, he was the chairman of the Windhoek Motor Club. And at that time, they were racing on the salt pans. And he took a bunch of his guys from the motor club and into the bush, showed them the bush, showed them a bulldozer, and says, we're going to build a race track. And they ask him if he believes in Santa Claus. So with that, a really interesting one. Before we get to that, actually, our next race is on Sunday, which will be BTCC. And that starts at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So please join in, have a look, and join us again. It's always nice to see everybody involved. And from us in the commentary booth and from Simrace Africa in total, we wish you all a blessed week. Be safe, keep safe, love your families, love everybody else. Keep it on the tarmac, drive safe wherever you go. God bless you guys, and sit back and relax this remarkable gentleman we've got, Mr. Tony Rust.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight being a very, very remarkable and amazing night for SimRace Africa. Not only did we drive the Tony Rust circuit in the virtual world, designed by our very own Peter Grobler, but we also got the designer and builder, Mr. Tony Rust, with us in studio. Mr. Rust, having grown up in a motoring family with this motorsport running through his veins, has been an idol for so many up-and-coming stars in the Namibian and South African motorsport circuit. Mr. Tony Rust, with his footprint set firmly into the African soil, we invite you now to sit back and relax and enjoy this 3-minute interview, followed with a video of how it all started and where it is today.
Well, you've got Mr. Tony Rust with us here today, initial designer and builder of the Tony Rust racecourse all the way in Windhoek.
Hi there. Hi Tony, how are you? I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're keeping your head above water during these difficult times. Tell me about it. Yes, of course. Everything's fine. Thank you. Well, we've just been around your circuit in the virtual world, and I must tell you, it is probably one of the most picturesque and interesting circuits I've driven. I've been driving for 27 years, and it's definitely something I thoroughly enjoyed. But as a man from motorsport and as someone that's been racing for quite some time, what we need to go racing is circuits, and you've managed to provide that for us with the Tony Rust circuit. But give me a brief history on how it came about and how you got into becoming a circuit owner and a circuit builder.
Well, as a matter of fact, I started racing when I was 11 years old, so it was in my blood and in my family. Wow. And when I came to Southwest Africa or Namibia those days, we used to race on a salt track, the last one in the world at Swakopmund. And the problem with that was you had to rebuild it every day, every time before the races, and it got very expensive. And believe me, Osado van der Merwe and these guys that was also racing on that track found it very interesting, because it's slip and slide in the mornings and the afternoons, and during the daytime when it's hot, it's good. But the thing is, we couldn't carry on there because it got too expensive to fix it every time. And I became chairman of the Windhoek Motor Club in those years, and I realized that if we want to keep on racing in this country, then we had to build a track. And of course everybody thought I was mad, and in actual fact they asked me whether I still believed in Father Christmas,
It's always a difficult thing. I've spoken to a lot of track owners over the years, and everybody assumes that you build a track for monetary value, and we both know that the sad fact of the matter is in any motorsport, be it international, even in Africa, circuits don't generate revenue, so it's more a passion for motorsports, and then it sounds like you've got that passion. But of course, in terms of designing that, did you design it yourself? Was it, did you have a dream and Father Christmas came and visited you and gave you the design, or did you sit down with other people involved?
No, not really. I was in civil engineering, building roads close to where the track is now, and I was one of the resident engineers there. And so I decided I got a piece of ground which was the only one available through the municipality in Windhoek. And I took the contours and designed the track from that. And then with some help of my colleagues there, we set it out. And I took the club members out for a braai in the bush. And showed them afterwards that there's a bulldozer standing there and I'm going to start building the track, and they still laughed at me. But yes, we built it, and it was working day and night because our time limit was very close to getting a good race, and we did it, and that was hard work,
No, that's fantastic. Like I said, I mean, everybody assumes there's monetary value in the race circuits, and sadly, that's not the case. So it's definitely done out of passion, and we can hear that you've got the passion, and you've done a wonderful job for motorsport in Namibia. And I've driven the circuit in the virtual world. Apparently, it's very close. So absolutely wonderful, great job. But in terms of the future and what the track holds for the future, have you got any more plans with it, or is there, you want to try and get some more international events up there, or?
In actual fact, I'm retired nowadays, and I've retired from motorsport as well, because Michael is racing, as you know. And if I keep on racing, then he'll probably beat me, and that wouldn't be so nice. So I retired, and I actually, the track I built for the Winter Motor Club. So it was given over to them, and they're in charge of it. I believe that they've got now funds from FIA to improve the safety features on the track and so on. So I hope it's going to keep on like that, because I mean, money-wise nowadays it's difficult. But yes, I'm sure that as long as we can, the people will race on it, and I hope so. And I hope everybody enjoys it,
Well, we've all enjoyed it tonight, and I must say, from my side especially, a massive thank you. I'm an avid motorsport fan, and it's what I do for a living. I teach youngsters how to drive and get them going. So I have a big passion for legends like yourself. You've left a legacy. You've left a wonderful circuit behind, and we thank you very much for all the work and what you've done for motorsport in Namibia.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and it's always will be a pleasure. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tony, and thank you for a wonderful circuit.
Okay, man. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, sir. Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The Mr. Tony Rust, motoring legend, icon, and father in his own right. Mr. Rust, from Simrace Africa, we can only salute you and say thank you for what you've done. It shows it takes one person with the vision and the drive to get something done. And 40 years later, real drivers and virtual drivers are all still reaping the benefits of your hard work and labor you've put into your passion. And may your track live on forever in the virtual world. Mr. Rust, we stand up and we salute you. Forever out. God bless.
Where the river broke, the bloodwood and the desert oak, holding wrecks and boiling diesels, steaming 45 degrees. The time has come to save this fare, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact, it belongs to them, let's give it back. How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? The time has come to save this fare, to pay the rent now, to pay our share. We'll scare the cockatoos from Kentar East to yonder Boo. The western desert lives and breathes in 45 degrees. The time has come to safe and fair to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact. It belongs to them. Let's give it back.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.